Recently, Genshin Impact released a behind the scenes video focusing on the upcoming region expansion, Nod Krai, and I want to talk about it. I am somebody that loved Genshin in year 1, but slowly grew disillusioned throughout the past 5 years. Now I only reinstall the game to check out an update if it seems interesting. For example, I plan on playing the Albedo update, an update 5 years in the making. Good lord, where does the time go? The developers mentioned that one of their central focuses is to explore and expand upon the lore of Genshin. They fully admitted that they have done an atrocious job properly telling the story of Genshin. Most of the past 5 years has been a complete waste of time, filled with random events and repeated lunar and summer events. Funnily enough, for all of its faults, Netland did the best job of properly exploring the many concepts and lore of Genshin. Believe it or not, the world of Teyvat is fascinating, but your average player doesn't know that. Why? Because all of that information is locked behind books, artifact descriptions, and various other supplemental content. Walls and walls, canyons and canyons of endless reading. A small handful of players might be big enough fans to read all of that, but your average player won't go anywhere near it. Because of that, your average player doesn't know the world of Teyvat is so much more vast, deep, cruel, and beautiful than you could ever imagine. And to be clear, I know what it's like to be an average player because I am one. I don't read the books or any of that other supplemental materials. The only reasons I even know about the greater background lore is because I watched some lore videos on YouTube a couple of years ago. My favorite example that I always use is La Senora. As far as your average player is concerned, she is a villain that randomly appeared at the end of Mondstadt's intro chapter to kick the shit out of Venti, then randomly appeared again at the end of Leeway to take the Gnosis from Zhongli, then randomly appeared at the end of Inazuma to fight us and unceremoniously die. She was a pretty underwhelming Saturday morning cartoon villain with very little impact. But in reality, she's actually a heartbroken widow who is trying to avenge her late husband. She actually lived and died hundreds of years ago and was reborn. She blames Venti for her husband's death and joins the Tsaritsa out of a true belief in her mission. At least I'm pretty sure that's what her story is. I haven't really looked into it in years, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in anything. Where is all of this information, you ask? The goddamn books and artifact descriptions. Las Senoras and countless other truly amazing stories locked behind endless reading. And here's the thing, I don't have anything against reading, I'm fine with that. But you have to remember that Genshin Impact, first and foremost, is a video game. We should be experiencing all of these stories, not having to go into a bunch of different menus and just sit down and read endless waves of dialogue. It's fine to have some books and descriptions and all of that other stuff for random bits of information that isn't super important or just small expansions upon existing lore, but when all of your fascinating lore and history and concepts is locked behind books and other things like that, that's a problem. The developers admitting that they failed and saying they are going to make a concerted effort to focus and improve its story is a great announcement. What exactly does that mean? Well, they said that they want to do a better job of showing rather than making the players read and read and read, as well as cutting down on the constant yapping and having more fun, varied, engaging gameplay segments in the story missions. What exactly that means is unclear, but I would assume more things like the rail shooting segment against the Valen in the Mondstadt tutorial. Do you remember that? From when Genshin Impact released, when you first start playing Genshin, there's this like really random segment where you're flying throughout the air and shooting the Valen. Like the game has never, ever had anything even remotely similar to that ever again. That moment is hard stuck in my mind because of how fascinating it is. It is such a random, unique, fun thing that the game did, and they never do anything like that ever again. They could also do more things like the war segment of Natlan, where the player had to choose where to go and choose who got saved and who tragically died. Essentially, the player is actually doing things rather than reading a black screen describing what's happening. Or having this stupid fucking rat constantly talking about food and making my head hurt with her high pitched, infuriating voice. God, I hate Paimon, dude. I despise her. I cannot wait for the day where the story just kills her off. I want it to happen, and I want it to be brutal and painful. I'm sorry. Anyways. Not Cry is interesting because the developers fully admitted that the only reason that this is the next expansion rather than Snezhnaya is because players have no idea what is happening in the story. The developers did such a bad job explaining things and wasted so much time that they needed an entire region, multiple updates focused on the main story to fix this mess. The small snippets of lore we got was interesting. They explained some of the tribes and the fact that 7 Fatui Harbingers, which is crazy, like what the hell is happening in Not Cry, will be there. And after 5 years, Varka will finally be introduced and hopefully become playable. Please make him a tall, muscular silver fox mihoyo. You will literally drown in money if you do that. The biker guy from Zenless Zone Zero version 1.2, that. I want Varka to be that. Tall, handsome, muscular, a silver fox. Give it to me, mihoyo. Also, make him good. Make him like a strong character. I don't care if he's a support, a healer, a tank, a DPS. I don't care what he is. Just make him good. All of these announcements sound amazing, but I'll believe it when I see it. While I was watching the stream, I couldn't help but feel a wave of deja vu. And then it hit me. They've said all of this before, multiple times in fact. The admission of failure, the desire to improve, all of it. The most recent example was in the Natlan reveal livestream. The developers said that they wanted to strive to make Genshin Impact better by improving gameplay, story, and quality of life. And I think we all know how that turned out. Unlike a lot of people, I don't hate Natlan. In fact, I made an entire video talking about it. You don't have to watch it, but it's in the description if you want to. But I certainly didn't love it. I reinstalled the game when 5.0 was released after not playing since version 4.3 was released. I had an okay time exploring the world, but despite the fact that the new traversal mechanics were locked behind new 5-star characters or horribly controlled monsters. All of those systems should have been universal mechanics that everybody has access to. The story was a mixed bag of obnoxious My Little Pony friendship is magic nonsense and some great exploration of lore. The false sky theory, the shades, angels, and other things. In my opinion, Natlan as a whole was equal in quality to every other region, not better or worse. Yes, even our precious Fontaine. Let's be real, the underwater exploration was atrociously bad, and the prison arc is one of the worst gaming experiences I've ever had. I despise the prison section. Fontaine was not perfect. The truth of the matter is that I do not trust the Genshin developers. You're telling me it took you 5 years to realize just how bad your storytelling is? Meanwhile, massive portions of the player base have been screaming at you that it sucks and offering criticism on how to improve. Now you want to finally explore your lore? The false sky theory, shades, angels, Celestia, the moon goddesses, and who knows what else. Now you suddenly remember that Albedo exists and you're going to conclude that plot thread? Now you want me to believe you when we've already done this exact same song and dance before? Sorry, but you set that bridge ablaze years ago. I want Genshin to improve. I used to love this game. I was obsessed. I logged in every day and just did whatever I felt like and had a blast. But after years of being ignored and seeing the game slowly devolve into a hollow shell of what it was, I see this livestream and feel sad, angry, happy, excited, confused. And the thing that breaks my heart the most is that I know Genshin Impact could be so much more than it currently is. I see so clearly the infinite heights, the radiant glory of its potential. And for the past 5 years, I've seen it fall deeper and deeper into the depths of mediocrity. I see this live stream, and a part of me wants to bounce from joy. The other part of me wants to laugh in skepticism. I've gotten my hopes up so many times only to be let down each and every single time. And yet, here I am, watching the live stream, cautiously waiting for the albedo update, and resigned to the fact that I will play Nod Cry the second it releases. Why? Because Genshin Impact has a stranglehold on my heart. It was released during the pandemic. As stupid and as sad as it is, Genshin was there when I needed it the most. That's why I so desperately want it to be the game I know it can be. I truly hope that this time things will be different. This time the developers will strive for greatness. But I've heard these pretty words before, and they've proven over and over again that that's all it is, pretty words. I want this to be the beginning of a glorious redemption, but I'm not excited. I'm not even cautiously optimistic. I'm just waiting. Please leave a like and subscribe, and if you really enjoyed the video, become a channel member for just $5 a month. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.